Speaking practice number 29. Today's question: which kind of university will you choose? A smaller, more intimate college, or a larger university with significant international recognition? In this question, there may be two words that are hard to understand. The first is intimate. It could have a few meanings, but here it means very private, with close personal relations. This is a smaller school with fewer students who all know each other well. Then there's recognition. Recognition means fame. It's a university with a well-known name. If everybody around the world knows the name of your university, that could be significant. In the case of the TOEFL, this is similar to an independent speaking question. You have to explain which choice you prefer, but you have only 15 seconds to prepare. Then you have to speak for 45 seconds. Want to try? If you're interested in doing it before you see my answer, you can think about it now. Then, when you're ready, let's take a look. Example answer: I would prefer to attend a small and intimate college because it would likely be safer and easier to make friends. For most people, going to college is the first time in life when we leave home and say goodbye to family and old friends. There's a lot to learn about becoming independent. You'll have to go shopping, commute to your part-time job, and prepare your meals all by yourself. So if you feel confused or get lost, it'll be in a safe and quiet campus where your classmates, who are experiencing the same challenges, will always be close and ready to help. Furthermore, college is a chance to learn deeply. Since it'll be easier to get to know your professors, you'll have more opportunities to meet up and have really profound conversations about the subjects you're pursuing. Key words: would you prefer a small college or a big university? The first word is commute. Commute means to go to school or work. It's the regular travel to and from work or school. You can commute by bus, train, or by car. But there's often a lot of traffic during rush hour, so make sure you leave early. Don't be late. Next is the expression get lost. To get lost means to be in a place you don't know, and when you don't know which way to go in order to find your home. When you were younger playing in the park, maybe you got lost a few times. And when families go on vacation, kids often get lost. Maybe the mall is the most common place where kids get lost, however. Number 3 is profound. Profound means very deep, but usually it really means very meaningful and important. Like I said, profound could just mean very deep, like at the bottom of the ocean. But when we use this word, it refers to what someone is thinking about. If they think long and hard about something, maybe they'll have a very profound thought. The last word today is pursue. Pursue means following something to catch it, trying to get something. But you could also say pursue an interest. This means try to learn something. You could also pursue your passion, and this means going for what you like, doing what you love. Checklist. Now, let's talk about the important points of making a short speech. First, did you follow a good order? Most important is starting with a clear introduction. I always do that. Then, it's a good idea to just give a reason. But then, after you give a reason, you have to explain the reason. Make your speech stronger by giving another reason before you finish. But when you give another reason, you have to explain that one also. One more time. The most important is to start with a clear introduction. Then, when you give your reason, make sure you explain it with a few details. Also, when you give another reason, you have to explain that one too, and also include more details if you can. Speaking of details, the next point on our checklist is to include specific details and examples. Again, let's look at today's speech. Remember, details means who, what, where, when, how, and why. In today's speech, who means family and friends, classmates and professors. For what, I talked about shopping, commuting, a part-time job, making meals, and having profound conversations. Then you should say where, which is in a safe and quiet place with your classmates. Talking about when, the first time in life, and always. How do you learn? Deeply. And don't get confused or lost. Why? Because it's safer and easier to make friends, as well as being easier to get to know your professors. As you can see, including a lot of details makes your speech richer. It makes the ideas you want to explain easier to imagine and understand. Point 3. Is there some variety? For better accuracy in what you're talking about, it's important to use different kinds of grammar patterns and various sentence structures. Look at today's speech. Here we'll see that I said, I would prefer to attend a small and intimate college. This is a kind of conditional, and it's great for showing preference. Then I said, you'll have to go shopping. This is the future using will, and it's used to talk about what you need to do, what will be necessary. Then I said, if you feel confused or get lost, it'll be in a safe and quiet campus. Here I'm explaining what will happen in a certain situation. For this we use the pattern, if A happens, then it will B. Down near the end of the speech, I say something quite similar. Since it will be easier to get to know your professors, you'll have more opportunities. Like I said, it's a somewhat similar pattern, but it's talking about a certain situation in a more focused way. It's more about getting what you want. So I start with since, and the pattern is, since A, you will B. Point number 4. Did you use appropriate vocabulary? I started by introducing my interest in attending a small and intimate college. So the topic today was about choosing to attend a small college. Now the words I used should be related to this idea. Here I used the word independent, which is related to living on your own when you go to college. Campus is very important. You should always mention that when talking about school. And don't forget to mention your classmates. Some related words are peers and fellows. These are a little more difficult, but they're also important. Learn these words well. Finally, I say subjects. And specifically, the subject you're pursuing is your major. So I could have said that too. Point number 5 asks, did you stay on message? Stay on message is an expression used by people who make speeches. It means you should focus on the main idea. Again, the main idea is that a small college would be safer and easier to make friends. So my speech should stay focused on this. Here I'm talking about friends. Goodbye old friends, hello new friends. Next I mention feeling confused and getting lost. which is related to safety. And again, I mentioned classmates, which is still related to meeting people. Then later, I'm talking about getting to know your professors, which could also be related to meeting people and safety, if you think about it. Now you can see, looking at everything, that from the beginning all the way down to the end of the speech, I stay on message. I'm always focused on the main idea. So now we can see that you have many things to think about. First, you have to put your speech in a good order. Start in the beginning with a good introduction. Then you have to include many details. Remember to think about who, what, where, when, why, and how. This will give your speech a lot of color. Next, it's good to use variety. Think about your grammar and sentence patterns. You can use different verb tenses to change your grammar patterns and make some sentences longer or shorter to change your emphasis. In the sports world, balance and finesse are very important, but so are strength and toughness. If you're an athlete, being fast and strong would make you the perfect sportsman. And of course, you have to use the right vocabulary. If you're talking about insects, for example, don't say that ants live in houses because ants live in colonies. And finally, you have to stay on message. And that means you have to focus. While doing all these things would be great, there's actually one more point, and that's automaticity or fluency. Actually, native speakers do all of these things naturally when they speak every day. And you do this in your language too. So when you speak, try to speak naturally. It should not sound like you're reading from a book. If you speak freely, you seem more confident. Then the audience will respect you and agree with what you have to say. Next question. Do you think that governments should preserve cultural heritage by maintaining historic buildings, or strive for development by replacing them with modern buildings? As always, I hope you try this on your own. Then come with me in the next video and we'll grow together. We'll complete this adventure together